What's up, guys? It's Double Room here, back with another NBA video, and it's been 2 weeks since I made a video, which is really long. I've been in a little motivational rut, but anyways, I'm going to talk about some games I watched tonight, and then after I talk about those games, I'm going to talk about kind of what's been going on in the NBA for the last 2 weeks, my thoughts about it, and such and such. So, I kind of had a weird, so I watched the Celtics-Hawks game early in the day. Then I watched the Warriors-Suns game as it was happening, and then I just watched the Pacers-Hornets game because I wanted to check it out. And I already knew the score to the Pacers-Hornets game, but it was a really fun game. Anyways, Celtics-Hawks. So I really haven't watched much Celtics or much Hawks. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Eastern Conference play, to be honest. And I know the Celtics have the number one offense. They were on a offense. They were on a 7-game win streak. Now they're on an 8-game win streak, which is just whoo. Celtics are on fire, man. And watching them play, their offense has just been like cranked up to freaking 10 on the three-pointers, man. They took 46 three-pointers in this game against the Hawks, and they were knocking them all down. Only they made 21 out of 46. That's 45%. They were just hitting everything. I mean, more than half their shots were from three. They only took 88 shots, and 46 were from three. So that's quite a bit of threes. It's a lot more than last year where their offense was more centered around. It was just a little more balanced from all levels of scoring. But hey, they're winning. You can't knock them right now. They're shooting a ton of threes. They're making a ton of them. I mean, Sam Hauser is shooting he cannot miss, dude. He literally cannot miss. I'm gonna check his season stats, man, because this dude cannot freaking miss. Yeah, he's shooting 45% on the year, dude. And I think he went 5 for. Oh man, he went 5 for freaking 5 on threes in this game. He had 15 points and he only made threes. Let's check the real box score. Sorry. But anyways, Sam Hauser can't miss. Not important in the box score. He's just shooting great. Jason Tatum, everyone is just shooting the lights out on the Celtics. Their defense looked good tonight too against the Hawks. They really seem to take pride. They're at that stage where, okay, we just made the finals. We're a really good team. We all know how to play with each other, and we're going to turn on the defense. We're going to turn on the defense for the games that really matter. And the Hawks have been on a little tear. They beat the Bucks twice, which is impressive. I didn't watch those games, but it's impressive to beat the Bucks. And the Celtics, I think, woke up and were like, yeah, we're just going to shut them down and make a heck of threes. So that was pretty impressive. DeJounte Murray played really great. Trae Young had a solid game. But like I said, the Celtics kind of just shut down all their other guys. Onyeka wasn't a factor, who I really like. I love Onyeka. John Collins played solid, DeAndre Hunter, but no one really had a standout game. Everyone had an average or below average game on the Hawks, and give credit to the Celtics defense. Now to the Warriors-Suns game, and I don't really have much to say about the Warriors. It's the same. It's kind of the same kind of deal, right? I said they're not winning the finals if nothing drastically changes. I still stick by that. There's nothing that's shown me that they'll play better. The Spurs game was like a return to form. They played the Spurs the other night, and it was like the same. It really reminded me of how they looked last year. But it's the Spurs. They're one of the worst teams in the league. And they lose to the Kings the night before in a bad game where they can't play defense. And then guess what? They lose. They lose to the Suns again for the second time this year, and they can't play defense. And it's just so sad, right? Because the Suns scored 130 on them, 130, and I'm just gonna read some numbers for you: 130, 122, 113, 114, 130, 116, 128, 120, 110, 134, 125, 128. Those are all games. Those are all Warriors games, and those are all the scores of what opponents have scored for them. Okay, yeah, they had 2 decent games. They held the Spurs to 95 and the Cavaliers to 101. But besides that, they've given up over 110 in every single game, pretty much, and it's just embarrassing because this team was the best defense in the league by far last year. And Wiseman has been out of the rotation for, multiple games now. I mean, they just said he's going to go down to the G League for an extended period of time. So you can't really blame the horrible Wiseman defense because he was horrible for him. But now the last few games, it's like, okay, Wiseman's gone. He was horrible on defense and offense, but that excuse is gone. And now, they're still giving up points. So I don't know what's going on. I really thought removing Wiseman would really help their defense, and it just hasn't. Like, it just simply hasn't, man. Draymond doesn't have the same athleticism. Clay is just kind of just not good on defense. Like, it's just weird. The Warriors are just not good on defense. Lamb has been a revelation. DiVincenzo's good. I really think Kuminga needs to play more. He's the player they need. He's the exact kind of player they need. They need an athletic defender who can rebound and maybe space the floor a little bit, generate some free throws. Like, everything Kuminga is good at or has the potential to be good at is exactly what the Warriors need. So I really think they need to start playing Kuminga a lot more because he just gives them another athletic defender. And those kind of guys, like wings, are how you play defense in the NBA. Like wings, you need athletic, long wings to play defense in the modern NBA. So, and the Warriors really only got Wiggins, and Green is not as athletic as they used to, like I was saying. And now to get to Steph, dude. Steph had 50 points, and they lost by 11. I'm not a huge I don't like to read off stats a lot in these like game reactions, but I have to read off Steph's stats because they are absolutely insane. Stephen Curry, 60% field goal percentage, 63% 3-point percentage, 9 for 9 from the free throw line, 50 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, right? That is an insane game, insane efficiency. If you have Steph Curry scoring 50 points on, like, I don't even know, 80% true shooting or something, you have to win that game. It's just embarrassing for the Warriors to lose these games where Steph is going crazy. Like, Steph is playing the best, like, on the level of the, like, he's not playing the best he's ever played, but the best, like, he's at that same level right now. Like, he's played this well in 2016 and in 2021, and he's at that same level. He's playing amazing basketball. One or two, best player in the league. One or two, man. I don't know. I'm a little biased because I really love Curry, but, man, he's playing so good. And the Warriors are just wasting it. And Phoenix, Phoenix hit tons of threes. They shot 50% from three. And, early in the season when this was happening, I was like, okay, it happens. Sometimes teams just shoot really well on you. Well, now it's been, 15 games or whatever. And, I'm not saying that, a lot of people are still saying, oh, it's early in the season. Oh, small sample size. I don't know. If in 15 games pretty much the other team is shooting really well from three on you, that's a problem. That's a problem. And, it's just horrible, man. I'm just so disappointed in the Warriors, man. It's just sad. They've shown a little bit of life recently. Like, I still think they can be a lot better. The West is kind of weird. It's a really jumbled, like, it's just full of, like, good teams, but no one is, like, really, really good. Except the Blazers, of course, who are 10-4. No. But even the Blazers have a lot of problems. So it's like every team's got problems, But the Warriors just don't look the same, man. It's just sad. So yeah, anyways, that's that game. The Suns looked pretty good. Like I said, they were hitting every three. I think Cam Payne had a career high. He was knocking down everything. Booker and Ayton were pretty quiet. They didn't have to do much because everyone was just hitting threes on the Suns. It was just kind of a team effort. Like Cam Payne, 29. Mikal Bridges, 23. Torrey Craig, 13. Damian Lee had 3 threes, Booker, I guess, had 27. That's pretty good. But he didn't really have a huge impact on the game because it was like he was just going through the motions. He didn't really have to try too hard because everyone was knocking down shots. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Look at this. Warriors. First quarter give up 36. Second quarter give up 36. Third quarter give up 31. Fourth quarter give up 27. And it was garbage time in the fourth quarter for the last like 4 minutes, 2 minutes of the game or 3 minutes. So it was like. Just embarrassing stuff for the Warriors. They fall 6-9. Suns looking solid. Suns looking good. They don't look like they're really that much worse than last year. Jay Crowder not playing is so weird. Like, why is he not fucking playing? Like, what the fuck is he doing? He's a fucking dick for that. And if Jay Crowder is sitting out, like, I feel like, I mean, if I was the Suns, I'd just withhold his pay. Like, I'd be like, oh, you're choosing not to play. That's grounds for withholding pay. So I don't know. I don't know if they are doing that. I don't know why they're not doing that. I don't know what's going on with Jay Crowder. Maybe, the only thing I would accept is if, like, someone called, if like, he was called like the N word or some shit, something major. Like if Jay Crowder was disrespected in a huge way or anything like that. So, yeah. Anyways, Suns look pretty solid. They're playing very similar basketball to they did last year. And now to talk about this Hornets Pacers game. So, haven't really watched a lot of Hornets basketball in general. I mean, they played the Blazers and Warriors this year, so I've seen them twice already. And I really was impressed. And I think I watched another one of their games actually. I think I've watched four Hornets games now. But this was the first game I watched with LaMelo back. And to be honest, over the past few years, I probably only see LaMelo play, 4 to 8 times, and I really haven't been focused in on LaMelo. And I don't really recollect him really having a big game or impressing me too much. But this game, he was hugely impressive, man. I love his game. He just, wow. Am I a big LaMelo guy? Holy crap! After this game, I'm converted. Just bought a bunch of LaMelo stock. I just love his game. He's just such a creative passer. Like he had like 5 passes this game where I was just like, how did he even do that? How did he know to do that? And he has these he's just one of the most creative players in the game. And I know everyone says that, but it's like the way he finishes, the way he passes, it's so unorthodox. And this is something I actually really have been liking about a lot of these new NBA players coming in recently, is because it seemed like for a little while there was a lot of stale NBA players, a lot of non-creative, stagnant kind of guys. Whereas like if you ever watch like games in the past, like there's all these weird players. Like I'm not a super good historian, but I understand that in the NBA history, there's all these players with weird little moves and like who are use their creativity in a big way. And it seemed like there was a little stagnation with creativity in the NBA just for a few years there, at least from what I was seeing. But there's a ton of players that brought it back. I mean, a lot of them were playing in this game tonight. LaMelo Ball, super creative guy, and Tyrese Haliburton, also really creative, and Benedict Mathurin, in a weird way, is a kind of a creative player. He just has a weird game. I don't understand how he scores so much. Like he's not really fast. He's not that explosive of an athlete. He's just kind of, he just kind of makes jumpers and makes floaters and can just get to his spot pretty well. He's a very strange player. I'm not really sold on him though, even though he's playing really well, and even though he's definitely a smart player, which is, one of the biggest things. If you're not a smart player, he's really young and he's already smart, so that bodes well for the future for him. But I don't know. I bet not super impressed. He doesn't have that high upside kind of thing. He's just not that athletic, and he doesn't have really a special way of moving. But he was good. He was really good. I'm not going to say I don't like him, but it's just so strange. It was just strange watching him have 20 points in only like 20 minutes, but he's just kind of hitting open jumpers. That just means he's a smart player. He's getting to the right spots. He knows how to attack certain closeouts and things of that nature. So I was pretty impressed by him, but I'm also just like a little confused. You know what I mean? It's just strange. Haliburton, always a great player to watch. Such a great passer. Knows how to use the pick and roll so well, and it's just such a fun player to play with. He's just so happy and smiley, and he just seems like the kind of guy you want to be friends with, honestly. Just from what you see on the court of him. I don't know anything about him. I watched like a bunch of interviews, but he just seems like a really likable, friendly guy. And yeah, the Pacers won this game. It was actually a really weird game because I have actually a lot of thoughts about these two teams because, like I said, I haven't really watched these teams a lot in my whole NBA fandom, honestly. And a lot of these players are kind of, on that. I'm not too knowledgeable about them. And man, the Pacers, like Miles Turner's really good. I haven't watched much Miles Turner at all. Like, I don't even know how many games of Miles Turner I've seen. Like, I could not remember a time I've really watched him. He's really big. I didn't realize how big he is, dude. He's huge. And he can shoot threes. He can shoot jumpers. He sets really great screens, and he has super long arms, and he affects every shot, man. If he actually gets traded, he's going to be a huge freaking asset for that team, man. Honestly, the Pacers should just keep him. Like they got Tyrese, Mathurin, Miles Turner, and then they're going to get another lottery pick this year. Theoretically, at least they're looking good. I think they're 8-6, so they're actually looking pretty good. But if they do decide to kind of tank it, they have a lot of intriguing pieces that I'm a big fan of. And Charlotte, man, I really like this Charlotte team. I know everyone was kind of down on them, and I think them losing a lot this year is actually going to be really good for them just to get a high lottery pick. But I really like Miles Bridges getting injured really sucks for him, but I think it's kind of or not getting injured. Uh, Miles Bridges' scandal, I think, is actually kind of a blessing in disguise for him. Because if Miles Bridges was here, they'd be like 8-6. They'd be kind of a mediocre team, middle of the pack team. And I do think their record is worse than how good they are. That's largely due to LaMelo being out for the first, few weeks to a month or so. Um, but I really think it's actually good that they're going to get a high lottery pick because I think this team has a lot of potential. And kind of in the same way, like the Pacers, it'd probably be beneficial for them to trade Miles Turner and tank a little bit just to get a higher draft pick. But I understand, as these NBA players are super competitive guys. You don't want to just tank. These coaches are competitive. These front office guys are honestly competitive too. And it's like winning is fun. I love a good season of basketball, right? Um, it's now fun to just suck for a whole year. And it's really bad for everyone's mental state. It's really bad for the culture. And it's really bad it's just horrible for everything. And a lot of people, I think, don't take that into account when they think about tanking. Like losing a lot makes a bad culture and, creates bad habits. And it's just not good ultimately. But obviously you get high picks. So it's kind of like, it's kind of tough. But I think the Charlotte team, Steve Clifford's made them really play defense. Every game I've watched, I've really liked what Charlotte did. It was super close for most of the game. It was like 5 minutes left. It was like tied 104, 104. And Charlotte had been playing great all game. They have a lot of like long athletic defenders too. Like Jalen McDaniels, I'm a fan of. PJ Washington, one of my favorite role players in the league. And watching him after tonight, it's just like, yep. Like every game I've watched this season, he's been great. Kelly Oubre, he's not the smartest player, but he's a solid guy. He can get some offensive rebounds. He's athletic. He can defend, and he can hit some jumpers and stuff. So you can't really. He's not a negative player for sure. He's definitely a good player. And then LaMelo Ball, man, he just filled it up, hitting threes, diming people up. Getting to the cup, hitting floaters. I was just really impressed. I was more impressed by Charlotte this game, even though they lost, which is weird. Like they were playing better for most of the game, it felt like to me. But they just made a lot of mental mistakes and poor decisions, which cost them the game. And then, down the stretch, they just kind of lost confidence in themselves, which, happens. But I really felt like, Charlotte played better, and I really was more impressed with Charlotte. Book Knight's pretty good. Nick Richards, dude. If you've not seen this guy, this is another dude who's huge. Nick Richards is gigantic, dude. Holy crap, he's big. Man, he's the kind of player. Oh, man. I was like, dude, like looking at him on the court, like next to Miles Turner, who's really big. And then Nick Richards comes in, is just like thicker, taller, like oh my god, I was really impressed by his size. Like seeing that dude in person would be crazy. Terry Rozier's chucking. I think Terry is the kind of guy they really need to get off this team. Obviously he's kind of built a reputation in Charlotte, and the fans love him. But I just don't think he's good for this team. But yeah, I like a lot of their other vets. PJ, Kelly Oubre, Mason Plumlee is just a solid guy. Jalen McDaniels is 25. Nick Richards is 24. I honestly I'm not as I think just having a lot of 22-year-olds and up is really the key to being not a horrible team. Like a lot of these tanking teams have like everyone who's under 22, and I was like, can we please get some like 25, 6, 7, 32-year-olds in here, just a few to just kind of teach these people how to play basketball and how to be like professional. But anyways, really impressed by Charlotte. I really think them losing a lot of games this year is going to really be good for them because LaMelo is such a scalable player, right? He can shoot, he can pass. Like his offense is super scalable. So if they somehow get I'm not super well versed in all the draft prospects and stuff, but if they can somehow get the Wembanyama guy, even though I'm not a if they can get Wembanyama, or if they can get another, like if they can get a wing like in the draft, like a good wing, that'll be great. Re-sign PJ Washington. Like I think this team has a lot of upside. But that's the thing about the NBA, man. Right now is the deepest it's ever been. Like every team is good. Every team has good players. It's just crazy, man. Once because Curry's gonna have to retire soon. LeBron obviously is gonna, but his team's already horrible. So LeBron's not even really impacting the winning of the league. And Chris Paul hasn't been playing. The Suns are still good. And like once all these, like all the old dudes are kind of, Kevin Durant 6-9 with the Nets. Like all the old dudes are not really playing that well. It's kind of a little shift going on right now, generationally, in the NBA. If you just look across the league. So those are my reactions to the games I watched tonight. Yes, it was super long, but I talked about 3 games in 20 minutes. That's pretty standard for me. Sometimes I talk about 2 games in 20 minutes. And now I'm probably going to talk a little more. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts of the last few weeks. Just about what else I've seen. Some Blazers thoughts, some Cavaliers thoughts, some I'm not going to talk about the Nets, some Timberwolves thoughts, Kings thoughts. I just got a little thoughts. So Blazers, really great, really good, kept winning. Won in San Antonio yesterday despite playing absolutely horribly. They turned it over. The amount of unforced turnovers they had was ridiculous. They only had 15 turnovers, which isn't really that bad. But I gotta say, 11 of them were unforced. They just chucking the ball to no one, and it was infuriating to watch. There's 2 things there's 3 in basketball. It's really hard to watch basketball because it's supposed to be entertaining. Okay, just got a thought. But anyways, basketball is supposed to be entertaining. So watching teams just throw the ball away sucks. Watching teams leave other players wide open sucks. Those are probably my 2 least favorite things in basketball. I don't care if you miss a lot of shots. If you have I think bad defense is harder to watch than bad offense. As weird as that sounds, if you're really bad at defense, it's just so hard to watch. It's dude, it's just so hard to watch, especially since everyone in the NBA can shoot nowadays. It's just if you're playing bad defense, you're giving up open threes to people who can make them. You know what I mean? But yeah, love the Blazers. I had this thought today, and I actually made a post on the anyways, I had this thought today. And I was like, okay, when I'm watching Blazers games, the starting lineup actually doesn't seem to play that well. And I was like, that's just what my eyes have been telling me. The eyes have been telling me that the Blazers starting lineup has not been playing that well. And I was just letting it think. And then today I kind of was like, okay. Then after yesterday's game, I was like, okay, because a big change in the game is they had the starting lineup out there. They were down 12 points, 4 minutes into the quarter. It was 2-15 or 2-16 or something like that, right? 2-14. And literally 4 minutes into the quarter, 8 minutes left in the first quarter. What does Chauncey do? This was a great move by Chauncey. Chauncey's like, all right, Shaedon Sharpe, Drew Eubanks, get in there. Took out Anthony Simons, took out Nurkic, and then the Blazers go on a big run. Now, why is that? I was like, okay, that just ticked it off even more. That was like, wow, that was the first time I've actually seen Chauncey go away from the starting lineup because they're playing so horribly and change it up a little bit. And then Shaedon Sharpe had 10 points in the first quarter, played amazing, played great defense. Man, I could talk about Shaedon Sharpe for an hour, man. He's just such a great rookie. This class is crazy, man. He's just such a great rookie, and he's, this is blasphemous. Anyways, I'll talk about Shaedon Sharpe in a second. But anyways, so Chauncey puts them in, and then the Blazers go on a run, and kept it close for the entire game, or led pretty much the entire game. And then, in the anyways, yeah, then the Blazers kind of came back, and it was a close game for the whole game, right? So then today I was kind of looking up the lineup data on Cleaning the Glass, right? Everyone's favorite NBA stats website. Second favorite, besides Basketball Reference. But, yeah, Cleaning the Glass, checked it out, and lo and behold, the starting lineup is pretty mediocre, is exactly average. They have a net rating of 0, right? The Blazers starting lineup. If you replace Nurkic with Eubanks, it goes up a tiny tick to 2.7. net rating, but still, that's like 43rd percentile for the 2.7 net rating, and then like 36th percentile or something for the 0 net rating, right? Which is not really that good, especially for a starting lineup. Well, the Blazers are 10-4, and they're winning a lot of these games, right? And the eye test tells me why are they winning, because they can play defense and they're playing unselfishly. And the reason they can play defense is because they got all these 6'5" to 6'8" guys who can defend, who are long, right? Nasir Little, Shane Sharp, Jeremy Grant, Keon Johnson, Justice Winslow, Josh Hart, right? That's 6, like I just off the top of my head. And those are guys who all play. Jabari Walker, you know, Trendon Watford, right? All these guys who are long can defend. And when you look at the starting lineup, what do they got? Well, they got Dame, Simons, Hart, Grant, Nurk, right? Well, Dame and Simons, not known for their defense, and Nurk has been playing really, really bad this year. So if you swap any one of those three out, so if you have a lineup of, Dame, Josh Hart, like if you swap any of those three out for Winslow, so if you have like Dame, Josh Hart, Winslow, Jeremy Grant, Nurk, or Simons, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, Winslow, Nurk, or Simons, Lillard, Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart, and Winslow, like if you have those kind of combinations, they're incredible. They're an incredible team. They have like 20 net rating, and then in the small ball case, if they swap Nurk out for Winslow, they have a 66 net rating. Granted, all those lineups only have about 25 possessions, so it's a super small sample size, but the eye test and the data have line up. And that's always a good, whenever your eye test and the data lines up, that's always like, okay, we're seeing eye to eye here. This is probably a trend. This is probably something that's going on here. So just looking out in the future, I think the Blazers can really upgrade themselves. Nurk's playing horrible. Nurk played so well last year, and I'm really disappointed in how bad he's playing. But if the Blazers are really good, and I think they have they're 10-4, and they have so much areas to improve on, is what's so reassuring about this team, because they turn the ball over too much. They can cut down on that, and they actually have been cutting down. That last 4 games, they've turned it over a lot less. They can find better lineups and better combinations to play better defense and play the game better. So I'm just really excited for that, and I think the Blazers, it's kind of a situation to monitor. When you got Dame and Simons, it's kind of like, can we play these two guys at the same time? And then on top of it, Nurk's playing horrible, so it's like we have 3 bad defenders in our starting lineup, and it's like I feel like the most you can have is 2. And Dame and Simons are not actually that bad at defenders. I mean, Simons is a long guy and athletic. Like, he can stay in front of people. And then Lillard's strong, man. The other night he had this incredible play where he blocked who was that? Some Spurs player. He blocked like Pirtle or some shit. Yeah, I don't think it was Pirtle, but he blocked a Spurs player, came down, hits a 3, and I was like, in the post. It was like he was getting posted up, and Dame Lillard's like 6'1", and he blocked his shot. So they're really not that bad of defenders, but having 3, I feel like in order to be a good defense, you need 3 positive defenders on the floor, and Lillard and Dame are Lillard and Simons are like slightly neutral, I'd probably say, to. And then Nurkic is just neutral, slightly negative right now too. So all 3 of them are slight negatives, and I just don't think you can play defense if you have 3 slight negatives. Now Shaedon Sharpe, man, man, what an amazing time this is. It's been it's amazing having a player like this on your team, like on the team you root for, because he's so good. And if you look at the NBA, who was drafted ahead of him, you got Banchero, you got Chet, Jabari, Murray, right? You got Ivy to Detroit, and then you got Mathurin to Pacers. So those 6 guys. Well, Banchero's, better, quote unquote. I haven't watched much Banchero. I think I've seen him twice. He looked pretty good, but nothing crazy to me. But Banchero, looks, and his numbers are crazy. Like, Banchero looks like one of those dudes who can be, 1 in the league, right? Which is not, you don't find that every day. But so, I'll say right now, Banchero's better than him. Chet's not. He's hurt. Jabari's not at all. Jabari looks horrible. Keegan Murray looks good too. Keegan Murray probably, I'd say, is equal to Sharp, um, I'd say. And then you got Ivy, who looks probably about as good as Sharp, but I just don't think has the same upside as Sharp does. And you got Matherin, who looks about as good as Sharp, I'd say. So a lot of these top 6, 7 picks are really equal in ability, in my opinion. But Sharp still stands out because I think he has the most upside out of most of those guys because he projects to be similar to Ant-Man, right? He's not built like Ant-Man, but he's got that same. He can be that same kind of player as Ant-Man, as a not to be blasphemous here, but as those type like a Booker, Kobe, Jordan, like in that shooting guard, pure shooting guard mold. Those two guards who can play defense and are just like pure shooting guards, right? That's kind of what he projects to me. And his athleticism is Michael Jordan-esque. And he has a lot of finishes that look like Michael Jordan. And I'm not saying he's as good as Michael Jordan. I'm not saying, any of that. But like so Michael Jordan had a 38-inch vertical, right? That's incredible. That's insane. And when you watch Michael Jordan clips, you see him and he'll like jump in the air, right? Like on his jumper, right? He'll jump in the air. His defender will jump with him. Michael Jordan is going up, going up, going up, going up. His defender's going up, and then Michael Jordan's still going up. His defender's coming down. And then on Michael Jordan's way down, the defender is gone and just shoots a wide open shot. Like he hangs in the air and then shoots on the way down because the defender is already on the ground at that point because that's how high he can jump. And if you look at some of Michael Jordan's finishes too, same kind of thing. He jumps so high that the defender is already on the ground by the time Michael Jordan's going down, so he just flips it in for a wide open layup. And Sharp has that exact same athleticism. Sharp has a 39-inch vertical, which is the NBA draft record for vertical. And it's not the kind of vertical where you need like a running start, like it's that kind of Michael Jordan vertical where he's just like, he's up there, he's floating. And watching him float, he's just like up there so long. And, he had this finish in his like third game where it was like that exact same finish as that Michael Jordan highlight. He just jumps under it and he's just in the air so long and flips it around. And then, he has these jumpers where he just jumps. And obviously sometimes he'll still shoot a fluid shot, he'll jump, fluid shot. But there's certain times when you can use that athleticism to your advantage when you're like, okay, I jumped. This guy was on me. Really good defense by this guy, but too bad. I can just jump higher than him. And on the way down, he just shoots it because he's now wide open because the other dude's on the ground. And he has finishes like that. It's incredible. So that's the first thing. He's got Michael Jordan-like athleticism and hang time. Second thing, he is just a positive player out there. Every time he comes in, he's making good plays. Like he's playing good defense. He has good effort on defense. He doesn't ball hog. He's not a dribbler. He doesn't look for his own shot. He honestly takes open shots. He passes it. He plays within the offense. And then that's what's so reassuring because he's already like a smart player. He's intelligent. He's not a ball like a lot of young players are. He's not looking for his own shot. And he just plays within the offense because he's just a role player now and he's starring in his role. I mean, he's averaging like 10 points a game on very little usage and on very like little minutes, and it's just on really great splits. I think he's shooting like 45 from 3 or something. And it's just because he's playing with the offense. He's being a role player right now. And it's just like he's overqualified for that role. But as a rookie, it's just good to get in these kind of, okay, I know how to play within the offense. He obviously makes some rookie mistakes, missing some rotations or making some dumb fouls. But that happens. Every rookie does that. There's nothing. Everything good he does is really good, and everything bad he doesn't even do much bad. The only bad things he does is like a few rookie level mistakes that there's nothing that like is alarmingly bad about his game. There's not a single thing I've been like, woo, he's gonna need to work on that. Oh my God, he's really struggles in that area. Like obviously he could become a better passer, sure, but he's not asked to do that right now, and I think he projects to be kind of a two guard, and maybe he can develop some playmaking chops eventually, but, they're not asking him to. He's doing everything he's asked at an exceptionally high level, and that's super reassuring. Unlike, compare and contrast, I watched a lot of Warriors games too as well, and it's just night and day. Like Shaedon Sharpe versus Kuminga, or Shaedon Sharpe even versus Moody, who's like, Moody is kind of that guy. He's that role player rookie, or he's that role player type of young guy. But watching Shaden Sharp versus all like Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody is night and fucking day, dude. Of just how much more intelligent of a basketball player is, how much more of a mistake-free basketball player he is. Like Kuminga, obviously, I really like Kuminga's potential. He's got crazy athleticism. Um, Kuminga's got that Dominique Wilkins athleticism where it's just like, boom, I'm here, Um, and he can shoot a little from three, and he can get to the free throw line really well. He can defend. Like Kuminga is the archetype of a really good player in the league, but he's so dumb. He's so raw. He needs to learn and develop so much, right? Moody. Moody's kind of a little shot hogger this year. He's just shooting it every time he gets it. He's kind of playing like Clay, right? He's just, every time he touches it, Moody's just firing away. And I've already talked about Wiseman enough. Wiseman's horrible. Wiseman looks like Hasheem Thabeet up there. So it's like, watching Shaden Sharp versus those three kind of young players is just night and day, man, because he's already way more intelligent, knows how to play basketball, just way better than any of those guys. And, that's what you need. You need guys who can play basketball. So, oh, man, that was a lot of thoughts. I know I said I wanted to talk about some other teams, but I got, sidetracked talking about the Blazers. Last thought, though. The rule change in the NBA this year, the no take fouls has been amazing, man. I haven't watching the games is so much fun, man. There's so little commercial, like I don't even know if there's less commercials, but there's just so much more pace to the game. Like the last few years, it was rare to see the TV mandatory timeout. But like every game I watch this year, it's like time to take the mandatory timeout because these teams just been running up and down, up and down. Like it's been great pace, man. This has been an amazing season to watch so far. So much fun. Thank the NBA for doing that. The only thing left to do is take away freaking rip throughs, which I hate. Even though Dame loves it, Dame's a little free throw merchant, man. Lillard is a free throw merchant, but I still hate free throw merchanting. It's just not part of the game I like. I just think it shouldn't be there. So yeah, hopefully they can take away the rip through next year and really start to crack down on the lunge-ins. Because I'm not a fan of, I don't know. I guess some of the, like, if you're an offensive player, you shouldn't be able to lunge into the defender. Like, they did crack down on it last year. And I still see about one a call of the game, where the guy gets him on a pump fake. He just jumps in the air, and the guy just leans into him, and they call foul. So I'm not really a big fan of those. But anyways, the NBA has been really great this year. It's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of great games. And yeah, double room out. That was a incredible. This was probably my longest video, but it was kind of needed, right? Anyways, double room out. Have a nice night.